there's nothing like reviewing a show a month after it happened. Way to stay on track and keep with the zeitgeist, keep with the times. But as a wise man once said, a wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Progress Wrestling Chapter 156, Steal Yourself from Sheffield. Now, as I said in the intro, yes, this event may have been a month ago, but I am finally catching up. I have two shows. I'm watching this one. Well, I have watched this one. If you're watching it now, it has been watched. Hungry Like the Wolf is next, and I'll try and have that up this weekend. But Progress were on a bit of a roll. While I think that show, It's Clobbering Time, was a little bit of a letdown, I do think that Feel the Noise was one of the best shows I've seen all year. It was absolutely fantastic. So, what about Steal Yourself? Was it good? Was it class? Was it underwhelming? Well, before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below on the show, and let me know what you think, because I think overall, Steal Yourself was a tremendous success. Now, I really loved Feel the Noise. Feel the Noise was awesome. So this had a lot to live up to. I don't think it quite reached the heights that I felt at Feel the Noise. I think that is one of my favourite shows of the year, but this was an absolute banger of a show. Really, really great stuff on here. A lot of story development, a lot of great matches, killer angles. I really loved this show. So let's dive into it. I'll give you my review. I'll give you my thoughts, matches, angles, everything that happened, the way a review works. Starting with Simon Miller, who of course is a tremendous host. He is fantastic, one of the best hosts in the business, and he introduced the tag match, which was Boisterous Behaviour taking on Velocities. This was awesome. Awesome match for the ASCA tag team titles. I'm going to be honest, that is eluded my knowledge. I knew it was a tag title match, but my wrestling knowledge does not extend to the ASCA. I do not know about that, I am afraid. But this was a banger of a match. This was really, really fun. You put Boisterous Behaviour in there with anyone, they are going to deliver a killer match. And the Velocities were really cool as well. It's my first time seeing them ever, and they're really cool. They're really fun. I really like the way this match was worked. I think it was just quick things in succession, which is what I really like in tag matches. Like quick moves in succession just looks really cool. And I think Leon Slater and Man Like Dries, I've just knocked something over. Leon Slater and Man Like Dries are just two of the best working today in the British wrestling scene, and they work so well together, and they just worked seamlessly. Really seamless stuff in here, leading to an awesome finish, which was a 450 into a sort of a springboard 3D, almost like what Cody and Jey Uso do, but this just looked sicker, if you get me. And they picked up the ASCA tag team titles. Really cool that they now have gold around their waist. By the end of this year, Leon Slater is going to be dripping in gold. I kid you not, he is going to be just megastar by the end of this year. And yeah, really fun tag match that opened the show. Don't have much more to say about it than that. It's a really hot way to start a wrestling show. Next up, we got Session Moth Martina taking on Renee Michelle. I don't know much about Renee Michelle. I think she's very, very new to the scene. Her match at Feel the Noise with Riho, I really enjoyed. I thought it was a great sort of coming out party for her. But this, working with Session Moth and playing off the comedy, was awesome. Was really cool. I really like how Session Moth Martina, where it could potentially come across as cringy, I think she works it in such a genuine way that her humour and comedy in her matches is like palatable, if that makes sense. And she worked really well with Renee Michelle, who the opening sequence where Renee Michelle and the ref helped Session Moth do a kip up was really fun. And just some of the offense that she had. Looking at my notes here, there was a really cool sort of spinning roundhouse kick and a capoeira kick that Renee Michelle did that I thought looked really cool. And Michelle hit a Hurricane Rana into an armbar for the win. I wasn't really expecting Renee Michelle to win because she's not necessarily a Progress staple yet. Potentially could happen. But she picked up the win, which I'm very excited for. I'd like to see her develop more in the British wrestling scene and have more matches, because I think she's got a really cool star presence about her, a really cool sort of aura, and some of her moves are really cool. So I hope she sticks around, and Session Moth is the perfect foil to go up against. I think they worked really well together, and they had a celebration at the end, which was nice. Big celebration party thing. It was cool. It was nice. Next match. Then we've got LJ Cleary taking on Yoshiko Inamura. I think I pronounced that right. I struggle. I think I pronounced that right. And this is just this was basically a squash match for the first 5 minutes or so, as Inamura destroyed LJ Cleary, which was good to see, because Inamura is cool, and seeing him beat people up is very cool. And it went just sort of, LJ Cleary gets a few bits in, a few springboards, a few strikes, and eventually there was a weird bit of I'm struggling to say. So Inamura was accompanied to the ring by Masawa, I believe, someone from Pro Wrestling Noah, and they very much played up the heel aspect of this. They were attacking Cleary while the ref's distracted, but I don't know if that bit worked for me. I would have liked this to have been a straight singles match, particularly what happened at the end. But what happened was LJ Cleary eventually gets the upper hand, hits a sunset flip for a pin, for a win. And I think that was the right call. It definitely was the right call, because after the match, it is then announced that he is an international signing for Pro Wrestling Noah. LJ Cleary will be competing in Pro Wrestling Noah, posed with the t-shirts, posed with Inamura, shakes hands with Masawa, and it was cool. It was really cool. It was really cool and really nice, because LJ Cleary is a staple of the British wrestling scene, and to see him grow and compete in Pro Wrestling Noah and have matches with the likes of Inamura is sick. I really love that. The match itself I wasn't necessarily fully hot on. I just think the heel face dynamics were a little bit off for me. But it was really fun. It was really fun, and LJ Cleary's gimmick is so good that, yeah, I can't wait to see what he does in Noah. And this was really a really fun send-off for him if it's the last he's going to be in Progress for a while. Then we got a polar opposite to the match we had at Feel Your Noise. You had Mark Haskins taking on the Machine, Brian Cage, in another awesome match, as Brian Cage is the most underrated wrestler maybe in the world, as is Mark Haskins, and these two worked a phenomenal match. This was so good. Haskins is such a great heel, and him working the leg of Brian Cage I thought was a really good story beat to tell, because you had the match before with Damo in which it was just power for power. Haskins is a smaller guy. Haskins has to use things to get an advantage, and he used targeting the leg. He works over the leg. Huge displays of agility from both guys, which was really nice to see. I think their styles blended really well together. The strikes from Haskins and the grapple from Brian Cage I thought was really cool, and he got to be a bit more imposing in this match, because he's not paired up with Damo, who's huge. He's paired up with a smaller guy, and he got to do selling like a monster heel. And there was a sick counter into an F5, which Haskins kicked out of, which looked beautiful. And Cage managed to pick up the win. He got Haskins in for a drill claw, one of my favourite finishes, actually. I love the drill claw. And then seemingly a bit of tension between Vic and Mark Haskins in this, where Haskins goes to sort of shake the hand of Brian Cage after the match, after the belter, and instead Vic Haskins sort of pushes him away a little bit trepidatious about maybe Haskins turning face. So we'll see where that goes from here. But this was an awesome match, and please come back, Brian Cage. Please come back. Then we got another awesome match, which was Big Damo versus Bullet in big meaty men slapping meat. This was awesome. This was so cool. I think Bullet is so goddamn underrated for a big man. He pulls off just incredible feats of agility for a man his size. I like his promo work. I like his finishes. I like everything about Bullet. Bullet's so cool. Like, he's so good. And him and Damo have this feud that's been going on for a while, wanting to fight each other, destroying each other, sort of being a part of the Spike Lykos story as well. And they finally got into this match, and they beat the living piss out of each other. Huge chops, huge strikes, chop war, double clothesline spot. Damo manages to hit the divide for a 2 count. Just huge, big, meaty men spots in this match. And Damo goes for the blitz, and he misses, and there's a very, very near fall. One of the best of the year when Damo manages to hit the Belfast Blitz. But Bullet manages to get up and hits a Drew McIntyre-esque Claymore kick to Damo, and then a huge chokeslam from Bullet for the win. Beautiful. Really cool match. Really cool, imposing presence on this card. These two were so good together, and Bullet needs to be Progress World Champion. Progress Atlas Champion, maybe. There's a shout. Ricky Knight Jr. versus Bullet. Give it to me. Inject it into my veins, please. This was a fantastic match. Then we got a Lana Austin Experience promo as Sky Smithson and LA Taylor were